Hello, hey guys, Joe Black Mage here. I'm here with another deck profile. This is a deck that I have been working on, and I have been relentlessly testing this deck to make sure that it works. And I've been testing several variants. Um, if you don't know what I'm talking about my Madolche deck. Um, I've tried pure variants, stun variants, um, even E-Tally psychic variants, and I think that the current type of Madolche deck I am using right now is the best variant, at least in my opinion. So I'm just going to show you guys a deck, just the main deck right now, because not everything's finished, but just the main deck. Just tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Suggest any changes if you like. Suggest some card choices. I'll test them out, obviously, and I have my own queue of certain cards that I want to test with this deck, which I might explain if I remember. So anyways, we're going to the monster lineup. You run 3 copies of Madolche Magellan. Magellan is essentially a Stratos for the deck. When any of these Madolche monsters would be destroyed and sent to the graveyard, they get shuffled into the deck instead. That happens for every Madolche. This is a Stratos. If you summon her, you can search any Madolche monster from your deck, and that does include herself. So Magellan's a good floater, because you can summon her, add another Magellan. If this Magellan gets destroyed, she goes back to the deck, and you can summon the Magellan you just added, and it goes into a continuous cycle, so you can just recycle your Magellans continuously, and it goes really good with the deck. I mean, it's a +1 on the summon, It's an obvious 3 of, because it's a Stratos. 3 copies of Madolche Crefsant. What this guy does, he's a level 3, beast type 1500. Once per turn, he can bounce one other Madolche card on the field, so that's not limited to monsters. Obviously it has to be face up, to boost its level by 1, and to boost its attack by 300. And this is a permanent effect, so you can use this effect every turn. Just bounce Madolche to the hand. And Magellan, you can summon Magellan, and if she survives, you can summon Crefsant and bounce Magellan back to the hand, so you can use her effect again the following turn. And you run 3 Crefsants, so you can open them. You can get his bounce effect off, because as you see more of the Madolche cards, you'll see that this bounce effect is very, very helpful to the Madolche strategy. You have 3 copies of Madolche Mew Fui, I think it's pronounced. And Madolche Mew Fui it's another beast type, level 3. This is a Marauding Captain. You summon it and special summon a Madolche monster from your hand. Now, one thing you can do with Mew Fui is summon either him or another copy of himself, or a Crefsant, and you can make a rank 3 Xyz monster, which isn't that bad of a play. But you can also combine this with our next Madolche monster, which is Madolche Messengelato, which I also happen to run 3 of. Madolche Messengelato's effect is when he is special summoned and you control a beast-type Madolche monster, which Mew Fui is, you can add a Madolche spell or trap card to your hand. And if you know the deck, it's very essential that you have one of your Madolche spells on the field, so you can generate advantage, so you have something that you can utilize for future plays. You can just continuously recycle your advantage, and the Mew Messengelato combo can be very crucial to, just getting your spell and starting to churn that advantage engine out, because Madolches are very good at gaining advantage, as you can see. This combo is a +1, Magellan's a +1, Crefsant can assist in the plussing as well. They're very good at getting advantage. The only problem with Mew Messengelato is that Mew's a level 3 and Gelato's a level 4, so they just kind of sit there. But I don't think that's really a problem. the next monsters in my lineup are the TG engine. 1 Striker, 2 Werewolf. I was considering bumping Werewolf to 3. The reason why you run, well, TG Striker you run because it helps Madolches by making Beast or it makes Beast and Barkion plays, which can be helpful to lock the opponent down. You'll never know when you want to get into a Striker play. Make a big monster with one of your Madolches. It's a shame that this card is limited because if you could run more, I would definitely try 2. Werewolf. Okay, so there is a particular combo that can be. Hold on, let me just get these extra deck out. Sorry, guys. There is a combo that can be incorporated with Werewolf in this deck. That involves again the Mewfewee and the Messengelato engine. So what you do is you summon Mewfewee. Activate his effect, you special summon Messengelato, and you add a Madolche spell or trap card of your choice. In response to that summon, you're going to special summon TG Werewolf from your hand. Now, you can overlay Mew and Werewolf for MX Saber Invoker, activate Invoker's effect, detach Mewfewee, special summon another copy of Messengelato from your deck, and you can overlay the 2 Messengelatos to make a Queen Madolche Tiramisu, detach a Gelato, and spin 2 cards on your opponent's field. That's one reason. TG Werewolf can also be used for other reasons, but that's the main reason. I mean, him along with Mew and other Madolches makes for a good field presence. You can obviously combine it with TG Striker to make a level 5. Right now I'm testing TG Wonder Magician because she's a good card for generating advantage, and I don't know, I just like Wonder Magician. I'm just testing her out. Next to my monster lineup is 2 copies of Tragodia. I know these aren't Tragodias, these are proxies. The reason why I want Tragodia is because the Madolche deck is so good at getting advantage, as you can see, and Tragodia is usually at 2400 plus, so this serves very well for my strategy if I'm clogging with Madolches and I need to, hide behind something. I have Tragodia, and Tragodia has been testing very good. And then to round out the monster line, I have 1 copy of Sangan. I just think that Sangan is good in general. It can search that Werewolf, it can search that Magellan. It can give you the missing piece to your. It can give you that one thing that you need in your hand to get going. As far as spells, we have 3 copies of Madolche Chateau. It's a field spell. All Madolches gain 500 attack. When it's activated, you avarice all Madolche monsters back to your deck, which can be very useful mid to late game. And if they would be shuffled into the deck, which all Madolches do upon destruction, they would be returned to the hand instead. And this also applies to Tiramisu's effect. When you return 2 from your graveyard to your deck, you can return the monsters back to the hand. So this can make for some crazy pluses, and the 500 attack boost is very useful. It allows for Magellan to crash into Thunder King, and allows for Messengelato to crash into Cyber Dragon. 3 copies of Madolche Ticket. Yes, I know one of them is Japanese. Blow me. When a Madolche. Okay, this is a very long effect. If a Madolche. It's a continuous spell card. If a Madolche card would be returned from your hand or from your side of the field or from your graveyard to your hand or deck, a Madolche card or cards, you can add a Madolche monster from your deck to your hand. So it's basically a Black Whirlwind, Wind-Up Factory, gateway for the deck. And if you have control of Fairy type, you can special summon it instead. The only thing is you can only activate the effect of a Madolche ticket once per turn, so they can't stack like Wind-Up Factory can. But it's still very good for this strategy because it allows you to plus, it allows you to toolbox for what you need. And yes, these are the only 2 Madolche spell traps that I run. If you start off with the Mew Messengelato combo, you probably want to go for the Chateau because the Mew and Gelato will bounce back to the hand if they're destroyed, and then you can do the combo again, and you can search for Ticket. If you have Chateau and Ticket on the field simultaneously, you'll find yourself in a very controlling position, but a position which can be very vulnerable to Heavy Storm. I run 2 copies of Forbidden Lands because the only trap cards that Madolches really have to fear are Bottomless Trap Hole and Dimensional Prison. If you Solemn Warning Madolche, it'll return to the deck, hand, trigger Ticket, etc. It's the same thing for Torrential Tribute or Mirror Force. The only staple traps that really irk this deck are Bottomless Trap Hole and Dimensional Prison. It can also push those queen combos through, and I don't know. Like MST, you can hit like a card that's not really that effective, but if you have Lance, you can pick which back row you block off, unless it's a warning. But again, this deck isn't that effective by warning. The only one I run is Dark Hole. I don't run Monster Reborn because it's not needed. I don't run Heavy Storm because you have the continuous spell cards that you want to keep on the field. I don't run MSTs because I haven't found the room, and I incorporate lances. But I've been considering putting 2 MSTs into the main board. Go on to our traps. Madolches are a trap heavy deck. I have 15 traps in here. 2 Solemn Warnings, standard. 2 Torrential Tributes, again, standard. 2 Bottomlesses, 2 Dimensional Prisons, 2 Fiendish Chains. One friend suggested to run Veilers over the Chains, but I just think that Chains are, in a lot of situations, more beneficial than Veiler. Like, if you're, it works under Macro and Defissure in that scenario, and, I don't know, I play, people in my area play Prophecies or Dino Rabbits, and Fiendish Chain is good, because Fiendish Chain can chain onto Logia negations in the battle phase, like if you're trying to deprison their Logia, or if you're going against Prophecies, you can activate Fiendish Chain in direct response to the summon. If they chain their Spellbook of Wisdom, then you can just chain Bottomless and get rid of the Priestess. That's normally how you have to get rid of those cards. And I don't know, I just like Fiendish Chain because of that reason, because it can get over those negators. I run 2 Starlight Road because Heavy Storm can be a problem for this deck. Plus, there's a lot of mass removal cards out there these days. Mirror Force is at 2, Torrential's at 2, you have Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, just a lot of mass destruction. And I just think that Starlight Road is a necessity in this deck because you need to protect your Chateau Ticket fields from getting... Because if you lose that, you are in a very bad position. 2 Horn of the Phantom Beasts, mainly for Crufsant and Warwolf to boost them up. Crufsant plus Chateau plus Horn equals 3100 beat stick. You might argue that it is situational. And that you can't get it off that much. But if you think about it, in hero decks they run 3 Alias and 3 Gemini Sparks. So how does that work? It works because the hero decks have so much searchability with Stratos, with Rhoda, with 1 copy of Rhoda, with 2 copies of Emergency Call, with 2 copies of Pot of Duality. Well, Madolches have enough searchability with the 3 Magilines and the 3 tickets that I think it's quite easy to obtain a Horn target in this deck. And Horn just helps you draw cards, helps you increase your hand advantage, gives you more plays. I've been testing it, I've been on and off about it, but it does put in work. And then to round it off, we have Ultimate Offering with Magiline. It's an auto-win card for the same reason why Ultimate Offering is an auto-win card for gadgets. It just spams Magilines. You can bring out Crufsants that you search with Magilines to bounce Magilines back to the hand. You usually overlay a crap ton of Tiramisu's, big Shockmaster, call monster effects, and you can attack for 10,000 damage. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that's my Madolche deck in a nutshell. Please rate this video, comment what you think of the deck, and hopefully subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. As always, Joe Black Mage out.